You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Talkin' Ducks is presented by Pacific Clear Vision Institute and Les Schwab Tire Centers. Welcome into another edition of Talkin' Ducks. Lots to get to, including a big-time recruit committing to Oregon men's basketball, a bit of a local product. We'll check in with Matt Preem on that. And then Kelly Graves, after 4 players transfer out of the program, we get a chance to chat with him and find out what happened behind the scenes and also how excited he is to see what he has with the players that remain. And then, of course, the crew joins us for everything that's happening with spring ball, including a little bit of a depth chart battle at the quarterback position. But let's go ahead and get to our opening drive, brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers, where they've been doing the right thing since 1952. And before we get to anything, as we welcome in Joey Harrington, Anthony Newman, and from the Oregonian, you know him, you love him, Fentress. Joey, it seems like there's something you kind of want to get off your chest here at the get-go.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming to me, Jordan. It's always best to address rumors and controversies head on. We just finished up our March Madness bracket with choosing the best team in the history of Oregon football. And at the end of that, I started receiving messages from people saying, I don't think that Joey and Anthony's hatred for Aaron is real. Like, they're actually friends, but they're just making it seem like, because they thought that we actually agreed on something or there was like something going on. Look, we're going to set the record straight. Anthony and I do not want anything to do with Aaron Fentress. We don't want to be in the same room as him. We don't want to be anywhere near him. The only reason he is on this show is because he's an obligatory media member. And that's why we put up with him. Are we good? Okay. Aaron, we still on for dinner this week? We still good for dinner on Thursday?
You could have prepared me for this.
Okay, well, now what was the question?
No, I mean, I'm just happy things are consistent still, that nothing's changed ever since we started working, 8 years ago it feels like. But let's get to kind of the latest news here with Oregon football. And that was the pro day. Very exciting day on campus. You got to see some former Ducks from last year and from yesteryear running around in shorts, trying to impress the 32 teams in presence to be there. And Kayvon Thibodeaux obviously was the talk of everything other than Devin Allen, shout out Joey Harrington, his 4.35 in the 40. And Kayvon Thibodeaux, obviously a very polarizing figure in this draft, started the season as number 1 overall, has now slipped down the draft boards a little bit. People wondering about his passion for football. Well, let's hear from Kayvon, who feels like he is the best player in the draft.
So what's been the most ridiculous thing you've heard about yourself during this process?
I'm going to be honest. The most ridiculous thing I've heard is that I'm not the best player in this draft, honestly. And that's, other than that, I don't really listen to everything else. But that to me is outrageous, just, with the film, with the numbers and what I can do as far as my ability. I have confidence in what I can do.
So what do you say to critics that kind of question your effort?
Just watch the tape. I feel like a lot of people, it's easy to see a snippet of something, because that's what media does. They cut stuff up and kind of frame it how they want to. Just watch the whole tape. You'll be able to see.
All right, Aaron, there you have it. Kayvon Thibodeaux, certainly not lacking any confidence. We saw him with the shirt off doing the interview also, and don't think I would have that type of confidence, to be honest. But your take on Kayvon, do you feel like he truly is the best player in the draft, or do you think some of these draft experts maybe do have him pinned right as far as dropping down a little bit?
Okay, I had to watch that clip a few times when I first saw it a couple days ago because I thought maybe he was just joking. And I'm not criticizing him necessarily. I just don't like the look. I've never understood the idea of players having to proclaim themselves the best in the draft, especially in football where you have so many different positions and they all do different things. They all fit different ways in different teams. Is Kayvon the best? I don't know. I mean, he might be. We'll know in 10 years if he ends up being the best player in this draft class. But when players proclaim that, there's something weird about that. Don't talk about it. Just go where you go and then prove it in the NFL. So I didn't like that part of it. But yes, we all love his confidence. We all love his talent. The fact that he's dropping could be for a variety of different reasons. There are other players across the country who are all really good and all have been talked about as being top 5 picks. We're just so focused on Kayvon because he's here. But in other places, they're talking about their guy being a top 5, top 7 pick. If he's falling at all, which we don't know for sure until the actual draft happens, it could also be because of fit and position need for the teams that are drafting. Like, that could determine if you fall or don't fall. So to me, he's going to go at the very least top 7 probably. I don't think it matters at the end unless his ego is totally wrapped up in being number 1, which I hope it isn't, because once you're the number 1 pick, it's fun for like 10 minutes, and then it doesn't matter from then on, because we all know that there's so many number 1 picks overall who didn't live up to the expectations. So, Kayvon, don't worry about where you're drafted. Just worry about what you do at the next level.
Anthony.
Aaron, I got a question for you. Is Kayvon disrespecting anybody?
I mean, I think disrespect that word is overused. I think he's proclaiming himself the best, which is fine. Like, I don't think well, it's fine, but I don't like the look. I don't think he's disrespecting other players. But if you're making that challenge, you better back it up. Because if I'm someone else who's being looked at for number 1, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Why do you think you're better than me? And that's where the competition gets heightened from that point on. But again, talk is cheap. It matters what you do at the next level.
You're right, and he's telling people to look at the film. Look what I can do on the field. And to me, if I'm a GM, I like that. I like that confidence. I like that being cocky, because that's what you want. You want a guy who wants to show the world what he can do. And to me, there's nothing wrong with it. You're right. You got to go back it up. But watching him on film, and that's what he keeps telling people, watch me on film, watch me work every Saturday afternoon, and then judge me. And then when he gets to the NFL, they're going to do the same thing. Every Sunday, what are you doing, Kayvon? But for him to talk about himself and go, hey, I'm mad, I'm the best. I want to be the best. I am the best. There's nothing wrong with it.
But he didn't just say I'm the best. He said it's outrageous that anyone would consider him not the best.
Well, now you're adding all these words and all that. Who cares? He's saying I'm the best. It doesn't matter. Period. End of story. No matter how you say it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. Go be the best if you are the best. Go prove to people you're the best if you are the best. There's nothing wrong with it.
But here's a fact, though. The vast majority of people who do that do not live up to it.
There are more examples. About other people. We're talking about him. He's talking about himself. So if I'm talking about you, I'm saying, hey, I'm better than you. I'm telling you what I am. Period. I don't care what everyone else thinks.
And I'm
just telling you what you need to hear from me. I'm better than you. That's all you need to hear. Period. That's all I'm telling you. You can't get mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
You can't get like, well, oh man, he's talking. I don't like the way it looks. So what?
Okay.
I'm curious to hear from the guy that was almost the number 1 overall pick. He was a loser and got picked 3rd.
I know, what a scrub.
But the difference in the pressure and the expectations of number 1 to number 10, is there a difference there, Joey? Or for someone like Kayvon Thibodeaux, is it almost better to start off in a later pole position because there isn't that gravity of expectations that you have if you're the number 1 overall pick?
Jordan, why are you trying to steer away from this? Don't take it this way. Keep it rolling down the freeway. Like, don't come to me and ask.
I'm just following the GPS, man.
Here's what I'll say.
Someone shouting instructions at me. I gotta stick to the route here.
Here's what I'll say, is that my hatred of Aaron Fentress is a joke. It doesn't seem like Anthony's.
Hey, isn't the reason why we do the show this way because you didn't want Newman and me in the same studio together?
I couldn't have you guys next to each other.
We would have to have security on standby.
Okay. What's the difference between 1 and 3 and 7 and 10? A couple $1,000,000. I mean, that's probably the best way to describe it, because there is a little bit more pressure that comes with being the number 1, a little bit more scrutiny. But at the end of the day, it's 1 is the same as 3 is the same as 7, in that every single player in that group, let's call it 1 to 10, is brought in to be an immediate impact franchise-changing player, right? It doesn't matter if you're the 4th pick or the 6th pick or the 2nd pick. The moment you get there, they're expecting you to help them become a better team immediately. And that's the key, right? I don't want to say it doesn't matter, because there is a little bit of something, whether it's, I don't know, somebody said ego a moment ago. Maybe that drives him. I don't know. But, the difference between actually being the number 1 and number 3 and what comes along with it, it's so minuscule. I mean, the only real difference is probably in your bank account.
I just want to see if Devin Allen also gets drafted. That's what I care about too. All right, don't go anywhere, because we got to talk more defense. We'll talk about the Oregon defense this year. When we return, Tosh Lapoy will tell us more about the progress being made in spring ball. We're just getting started here on Talkin' Ducks.
With 9 locations in the Pacific Northwest, Parr's Cabinet Design Center features everything from outdoor cabinets and countertops to sinks and hardware. Thousands of door styles and colors available to order, as well as kitchen and bath cabinets in stock. All available at the Parr Cabinet Design Center.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
Stories tell us that great leaders are anointed at birth, chosen by the hand of fate. But those are just stories.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. Time to put things into focus. Brought to you by Pacific Clear Vision Institute, the official eye doctors and eye surgeons of the Oregon Ducks. Let's go ahead and listen in on defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoi, our first time hearing from him this spring.
We're going to be a versatile defense at the end of the day. Just the growth and understanding and what we did at Alabama, and I'm branching off Kirby. I think it's a collaborative effort. But what's most important that where we attack this process is not really who we want to be, who we can be. So, it's our job, and what I think makes a great coach is assessing the personnel and not doing something because your past system did or, past technique, fundamentals. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now. So, and it's a blast. We're finding out who we are and who we can be rather than who, we're not going to be the Atlanta Falcons or Cleveland Browns or Jacksonville Jaguars. We're not going to be Georgia. We're going to be Oregon, and this is going to be our brand of football, and we're building that together right now. We're in the process.
All right, Anthony, a lot of great stuff there from Coach. And what stood out to you? Because it feels like you're bringing in all these different coaches from different backgrounds, of course, and now they're trying to really assess the personnel that they have here at Oregon.
Well, I'm excited about Tosh. I've known him. I met him a long time ago when he was at Cal. My buddy, ex-Duck, Ron Gould, was the running back coach there, and him and Tosh were pretty close. And then I met them together, and I met Tosh, and he's a wonderful person, and he has a lot of experience. He's talking about going from different colleges to the NFL. Now he's back to college. He's going to bring a lot to the table, and I think what they're trying to do with this defense is play to the strengths of Oregon's defensive players. That's what you have to do. You have to figure out what do you have, what's your strengths, and let's play to that. Could be zone, could be man. They're trying to figure that out right now during the spring. They'll know more in the fall, but I know they're an attacking type defense. They're going to get after you a little bit, show you some different things, different looks, try to confuse the quarterbacks and the receivers and the offensive line. I'm excited. There's some players that can play. Noah Sewell is the top guy on the defense. What I'm concerned about, who's going to be the next guy that's going to be the star, the next captain, the next guy is going to stand in line behind Noah Sewell and say, hey, guys, let's get this thing rocking. We don't know because there's so many new defensive players on that team.
Bennett.
And Joey, you had a chance to meet Coach, and did you pick up anything about what you might anticipate this defense looking like this year? What does he bring to the table for this team?
We had him over a couple months ago now. And to answer your question directly, no, we didn't get
You guys didn't talk
specifics
football
into
when you came over?
Well, hold on, let me round. Did I get any specifics on what the defense is going to look like? No, I didn't. I didn't press them on those things. It was more like, welcome to town. You want another beer? Let's put our feet up and hang out. But what I will say is Anthony hit on all the perfect points. Right? 1, he was a great person. 2, he has a wealth of experience. And 3, he's going to do something to tailor this defense to what Oregon has and what their strengths are in their personnel, right? So that's the roundabout way to answer your question, which I wasn't going to ignore, okay? What are they going to do? They're going to find out. He's going to use all that experience at the collegiate level, all that experience at the NFL level, all that playing experience, and then take a look at, evaluate his talent and say, what can I do to best utilize what I have right now and turn it into a championship defense, right? That's what I loved to hear. And that's the impression that I got when I did get to hang out with him, was that he wasn't so stuck in his ways where it's like, this is the only way to do things. He talked about how he was around Nick Saban and how that influenced him, good and bad, right? Here's what I loved about it. Here are the good things I took from Alabama. Here's what I really don't want to replicate, right? So he has that flexibility, and he's not so locked in his in one way of thinking. He can adapt. He can utilize the assets that he has rather than trying to take a square peg and shove it into a round hole. And I love that for defensive and offensive coaches.
Aaron, it's been a lot of defensive coordinators at Oregon over the last 5-6 seasons. Now you have Lapoy. It's his turn. Obviously a lot of experience. We've heard the other two guys echo the fact that he's going to tailor the defense around the talent. What do you pick up from these early stages of spring ball so far on that side of the field?
Well, first of all, thank goodness it's not going to be Jacksonville, right? I mean, he said that straight out. You want to praise him for not trying to be. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's all you really can ask for at this point, is that you have a coaching staff that their egos aren't so huge that they're not going to make kids fit into their system as opposed to tailoring the system around the kids. There's a lot of work to be done here. You were 79th last year in total defense, and that was with Kayvon, who just said he's the best player in the country, and that was with McKinley, who obviously was your captain, your interception leader, and you're basically your general, right, at the safety position. Those are 2 huge losses. Now, he talked a lot about being aggressive, getting after the quarterback. Well, there's one thing you got to have if you're going to get after the quarterback like that, and that's dudes that can cover man-to-man in a conference that likes to throw the football. So they need to find some corners that can get that done, and plus a slot corner that can get that done. As far as leadership goes, I'm going to look to Bennett Williams to be that next guy to step up. He's a guy who was having an amazing season last year. He definitely, before he got hurt, he definitely has NFL potential. He's a veteran guy who's been around the program a lot. He played also at Illinois. So this is a kid that I think is going to step up as a big-time leader. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that defensive side. To me, scheme doesn't even matter at this point. You got to find what? What do you got to find? You got to find dudes. You got to find dudes that can ball out and replace Kayvon, replace McKinley, etc.
And to that, Anthony, you look at the defense last year and over the last couple of years, what does need to change with this Oregon defense, regardless of the scheme that's coming in? What do you want to see them do better this season?
Well, if you don't have a Kayvon, you got to get to the quarterback. So every time we saw Kayvon out of the game, they couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't put pressure on the quarterback. It's a passing league. They're going to throw the football all over the place. And then you have to find a way to get in the face of the quarterback or have that quarterback hear footsteps. And if you can't do that, then I don't care what kind of DBs you have. They can't cover for more than 5 seconds. And the linebackers dropping back in coverage, it can't be done. So it starts up front. And I think in football, both offense and defense, it starts in the trenches. Guys on defense, who can put pressure on the quarterback and who can stop the run? And
a great example of that is that Stanford loss, because they were trying to rush 3, sometimes 4, and they weren't getting any pressure. And was it McKee, I think his name, was throwing quick passes and went all the way down the field and scored a touchdown. So if you can't get pressure, you better cover. You got to be able to cover short routes and getting guys' faces. And I don't know if they have the guys to do that right now, so we'll see.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk offense. Kenny Dillingham addresses the media as we continue to take a broader look at this Oregon team with spring ball continuing. Plenty more Talkin' Ducks when we come back.
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG.
In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
Parr Lumber is committed to providing the best customer service. We provide personal service. We're problem solvers. We're positive and courteous. We're competent and professional. We are committed to delivering exceptional service every time. We're appreciative and we care. We are Parr Lumber.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks! You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. Let's hit Victory Road, presented by Capital Toyota in Salem, your way on the Parkway. And let's hear from offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham for the first time this spring.
We want to be a pro-style offense that plays fast. So what that means is we want to put our athletes in the best position to win one-on-one situations, but we want to be able to do that at variations of tempo. So whether we're playing super fast, whether we're in a check with me system, so we're trying to be able to create a variation of tempo. We're also creating matchups via one-on-one based off our personnel groupings. This system is built for playmakers, and we are going to put our playmakers in space. If those playmakers are our best players, our running backs and our best players are up front, we're going to run football. If our best players are on the perimeter who can win one-on-ones, we're going to give them opportunities. You know, in years past, we've thrown the ball for over 4,000 yards in this system. We've ran the ball for over 4,000 yards in this system. So this system is adaptable to the people we have on our team. We're going to adapt it to those players.
Well, Joey, a lot of good stuff there, but it feels like, okay, it's an offense that wants to be explosive. This all really seems to still come down to who the quarterback's going to be. And we'll hear from Ty Thompson next. But overall, Dillingham, this offense, kind of last segment when we talked about with the defense, where does Oregon need to change this next season when it comes to their offense based upon what we've seen in the previous season?
Well, again, I can't answer your question directly because I don't know where Oregon needs to change. But here's what I will say is that I liked, again, he said something really similar to Tosh in that we will use our personnel to put them in the best possible position, right? And that's all you can ask for at this point. I don't want to hear an offensive coordinator say, we're going to be a downhill, grind it out type of football team, if those aren't the type of players that you have, right? And I think that we ran into that a little bit with Mario and their style of offenses. They committed to being a hard-nosed downhill football team when that wasn't always what they did best, right? I love hearing that we are going to find our best players, put them in good situations, and then ask them to make plays. Because that is, honestly, that's what Chip did. That's what Tedford did. That's what, you go down the list. I think of all the great coordinators I've been around, and what they would do is they'd look at a defense, say what's vulnerable, and how can we use our pieces to accentuate those vulnerabilities, to put our guys in a place to be successful. And that's all you can ask for from a coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, what Joey said. Let me give you two examples of coaches who made those decisions in different ways. Bellotti went to the spread option offense in 2005, because that's the personnel he had. He's like, I have offensive line issues in terms of protecting with 7 and 8 in the box. I'm going to spread people out because I'm getting all these receivers like crazy. My goodness, I got receivers and running backs coming out of my backside, and I've got Dennis Dixon in the wings. I'm going to tailor the offense around my personnel, and we saw what that did for the program. On the other side, in 2016, the Ducks moved from a 3-4 to a 4-3 with Brady Hoke coming in when you had 3-4 personnel and kind of mediocre 3-4 personnel. So yeah, let's put more D linemen out there. We don't have D linemen. They had a 245-pound defensive end in Hollins who was completely out of position. And so it didn't make any sense and it blew up in their face. So the fact that on offense, they're looking to just maximize what they have is obviously what you want to do. That said, the quarterback's going to dictate what it is they're going to do. If they find a guy who can sling it, they're going to sling it. If they don't, they're going to have to run just to survive. And then for this offense to go to another level, it has to be able to be a threat downfield. You have to be able to open things up. They won the UCLA game, I believe, primarily because all of a sudden in the second half, they were hitting digs and stuff. Like, it was like, whoa, that's a 20-yard completion downfield over the middle. That opened things up in that game and allowed them to win it. They need to be able to do that this season, or they're going to be limited on offense once again.
Anthony.
Well, I agree with Joey. And Aaron said some good things.
You know it's funny. Just admit it.
We knew you would soften up a little bit. We knew you would soften up.
He said some good things. He's right. Coaches, you can't go in there and say, hey, this is what we're going to do, but you don't have the players to do that. It's not a good thing. So you got to play with the guys that you have and build that football team around that. And that's what both sides of the ball sound like they're doing it.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. We'll hear from one of those quarterbacks in that quarterback battle, Ty Thompson. He addresses the media. We'll hear from him when we come back on Talkin' Ducks.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. And it's time for our Thing of Beauty, presented by Dr. Lee B. Daniel and Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. Live beautiful. Let's go ahead and hear from Ty Thompson on how his spring has gone, his improvement, and the addition of Bo Nix.
It's 100% film. I mean, I spent a lot of time up here on the past month or so, and I feel like that has paid off. I mean, my decision making has been a lot more comfortable, more fast, and I feel like that is a testament to how much time I put in.
Was there a point over the last couple of months where that clicked for you for decision making, or when did that kind of take place?
100%. I remember, like, vividly, we had a morning meeting about a month ago. We were talking about protections, and then we went out and had a walkthrough, and it was just like, it just clicked, like you said, and it was beautiful, and I was so happy. And I called Coach Dillingham. I was like, Coach, it's clicking. And he was just happy for me. The main goal is being successful as a team. So whether it's me giving Bo a tip or asking him a question, or him helping me out, because I mean he's been in college football, played a whole lot at a high level. So I mean using Bo and Jay and Coach Dillingham as resources is the best thing I can possibly do. I feel like being negative to your teammates, especially in your same position group, can do nothing but hurt the team. That's not good.
Well, Joey, this feels like a very pleasant, civil quarterback competition between Bo Nix and Ty Thompson, the bow tie, as you like to call him. I'd like to leave that joke you snuck in there during the break. But what do you make of Ty Thompson at this point? Obviously, both players are very well aware that they are battling for this one position, and there hasn't been a decision made yet.
Right. First of all, having been in competitions in both well-functioning quarterback rooms and in quarterback rooms where there is a bit more animosity, I love to see the fact that they're both working together. That is only going to pay dividends. Now, I loved what I heard Ty say when he said, "Here's the moment when it clicked." That gives me hope, right? That is because I remember that feeling. I remember being a junior at Oregon and sitting down with Niels and Bucos and saying, and having him explain things to me and having that moment where it was like, boom, now it clicks. Now I get it. That could be big. Like that could be the moment that we look back on and say, oh, the light came on. And now Ty has used that information that he's gained, has a guy like Bo behind him who's supportive, who can share experiences, and now he's off and running. So there were a couple things that I liked out of that. Most notably, the fact that Ty can pin down the moment where he said that light went on.
Aaron, what do you make of this? I mean, this seems like, as Joey said, a healthy quarterback competition where they are helping each other out, and that's really the best case scenario if you're Oregon trying to figure out who's going to emerge from this competition is two guys that are really pushing one another to be the best that they can be.
Nah, Bo's giving him the wrong reads. He's taking his playbook and flipped everything around and giving the wrong playbook like in the Brady Bunch because Bo wants to start. Okay, of course, I'm kidding to a certain extent. I do think it's good that Bo is going to help tutor Ty because that's what you want. But at the end of the day, Bo does want to start. He didn't transfer to Oregon to sit on the bench behind a younger quarterback. So it's going to be a fierce competition no matter what they tell us in our faces in terms of talking to the media. But here's the bottom line for me. Bo Nix, let's say, is right here. This is a guy who's uber talented, but it's not proven that he can win at a high level. Not all his fault. Granted, Auburn was a flawed team, and for all we know, he could elevate. You don't want Ty to come here and Bo wins in the status quo. You want Ty to beat him out so that now they're saying that Ty is ahead of where Bo is, and then you now have a potential of having a championship marquee quarterback. If Ty comes in behind Bo, then you have a lot of question marks there in terms of whether or not the quarterback is going to be a better, positive to your team than it was last season. So there's a long ways to go in this. Obviously, Bo has to be in the lead just on sheer experience and his relationship with Dillingham. I know everyone made a huge deal about the fact that Ty Thompson took first team reps one day last week, but they also had Bo taking first team reps on different days when the media wasn't there. So it's definitely a situation where it's going to be an evolving competition, a back and forth, because they want to give Ty a fair shot. But Ty has to demonstrate that he's better than a guy who's at least proven he's a quality, if not championship caliber quarterback with the right pieces around him.
Here's one thing I want to add. At every position, the quarterback's probably most important. You got two guys trying to compete for that starting spot. But every position, guys are trying to compete for that starting spot. You want to be the starter. I was in a situation when I got to the Rams. I was a rookie, got drafted. The safety that was in front of me was there for a long time. He was giving me the wrong information. He was telling me to go left and not go right and all these different things. Oh, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So I had a tough situation. I didn't have a guy helping me.
That's awesome.
Ty has a guy that he looks up to. Now, when they start playing games, okay, and it's real, and Ty is starting, and he's looking good and he's playing well, things could change a little bit because Bo's a competitor. He wants to be out there. But I like that Ty is looking up to another guy that has a lot of experience. I heard, listening to Ty and what he said in that interview about it clicked, and Joey said this, it's happened to all of us. At one point in your career, in college or in pro, things click. The game slows down. Now you start to understand what's going on. And we all wondered during the season, why is Ty not getting in there? How come he doesn't play? The coaches knew that. The coaches knew he wasn't ready. He might be ready now. He might be that guy, that 5-star, 4-star, whatever quarterback that can play. We'll find out. But I like what he said. It's starting to click. I understand it now. And sometimes that takes a coach to help you do that.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if it truly does click and then stick with Cy Thompson as they move forward this spring. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, Matt Preem will join us. Huge recruiting news for men's basketball. Also a busy weekend for football with some new Ducks that might potentially join the flock. Plenty more Talkin' Ducks when we come back.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package. New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG.
In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Time now for What's Cookin', brought to you by Sam's Northwest Barbecue, the largest brick and mortar specialty barbecue store in the Northwest. And joining us as we fill our smoker with some pellets, we've got Matt Preem from 24/7 Sports and Duck Territory. And Matt, great to see you again as the spring is now here with us. And let's talk some good news for Dana Altman and men's basketball. A local product, Mookie Cook, committing to the Ducks. How big is this for Oregon to get yet another 5-star to come join them?
Yeah, I'm going to call Mookie Cook an in-state kid. He grew up in Northeast Portland. He played this season of high school basketball in Arizona. He left Oregon simply to play against the very best high school players. So I'm going to call him an Oregonian nonetheless. His sister ran track at Oregon too. He's a Duck through and through, and he chose to stay home. And he ties Bol as the highest rated kid to ever commit in the recruiting era to the Oregon Duck men's basketball program. That's how good of a player he is. He has NBA scouts already looking at him. He will be a potential one and done prospect. His ceiling probably presents an opportunity where, best case scenario, he's in Eugene for 1 year and he's drafted in the top 10 of the NBA draft. He could be a guy that maybe has some things to work on and finds himself in the back end of the first round. Player comp is Andre Iguodala. Cook is 6'7", can guard power forwards. He can also guard point guards. Very, very massive get for Oregon, and that's pretty cool. The 2024 2024 recruiting class, or 2023 recruiting class, excuse me, they are a ways away from signing. They will sign in November of 2022. And this group is a two-man class at Oregon. Both of them Oregonians. Jackson Shelstead from Westland is also committed to Oregon as well.
Let's go ahead and switch gears to football. They're back in the full swing of spring practice, and everyone knows the biggest story, at least on the field with the team this year, is the quarterback battle between Bo Nix, Ty Thompson. Did we see anything sort itself out? Because we obviously had a quarterback start taking snaps with the ones here, but have we learned anything about this competition yet, or is it still a big old fat question mark as we continue through this spring?
Well, on Thursday's practice, we saw Ty Thompson take reps with the first team, Bo Nix with the second, and Jay Butterfield with the third. It's notable. Our eyes saw that. The coaching staff knew we were going to be able to see that. They knew we would report that. You have to say that. You have to make note of it. But in the grand scheme of things, as Kenny Dillingham, Oregon's OC, said on Saturday after practice, it's a small sample size. These guys are rotating 1, 2, and 3 consistently throughout spring ball. I even mentioned that on Thursday when I tweeted out the order that we're all going to freak out about it, myself included. But the reality is this probably has happened day one at Oregon in some part of spring ball. And this is just the coaching staff, throwing guys into different players. And hey, is Bo Nix, is he so good? Is he better than the other guys that when we put him with the second unit, he's going to elevate that group to play at a higher level that maybe a younger quarterback wasn't doing? That's also a reason why sometimes you put guys from the first team to the second team. Is if he's really the best guy, he should elevate everyone's play around him and make that second team even better because the quarterback play is better. So I wouldn't read too much into it right now.
Stick around. When we come back, Kelly Graves will join us, and boy, do we have a conversation with him. A lot of news, a lot of movement with women's basketball when we come back on Talkin' Ducks. You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. It's time for some excellence off the football field, presented by Ferguson Wellman. Ferguson Wellman taking a disciplined approach to investing, and joining us now, great friend of the show, head women's basketball coach at the University of Oregon, Kelly Graves. And Coach, 4 players transferring out over the past couple of weeks, and impactful players, especially when you look at their production on the floor and their recruiting rankings coming in the door. Just your initial response. I mean, were you surprised by this? And then how do you now move on from this? Because it's the new reality in college basketball, is you're going to have some talent leave every single year. But how did you process just everything that happened?
Well, when you lose players, it's always tough. It impacts the program in lots of different ways. Obviously, you talked about the production and things like that. But, as a coach, I shouldn't, but I do. I always take it personal because, you get to know these young people really, really well. From the time they're in high school, you get to know their family. You go in and, you have an opportunity to really, kind of sell your program. And so when they do leave, you feel like, well, I failed them. But, you just can't look at it that way. I know our fans are probably disappointed, and they should be, but sometimes it's their decision. Sometimes it's our decision. And, we have to make choices, and we try to be as honest as we can with our players in terms of what their playing time will look like in the future, where they stand with the team. But, I'm disappointed, and I wish them well. I don't take it, I don't want to be that guy that says, well, I hope they fail wherever they go. No, that's not the case. I am happy that they gave us 2 years, and I just wish them the best wherever they decide to go. And when coaches call me, and they do, I've already fielded several phone calls about them. I always try to accentuate the positives, about each player. So, Sydney and Maddie and Kylie, those 3 all came in together. And then Taylor Bigby joined them later. Again, I wish them the best. I'm disappointed that they won't be in a Duck uniform, but, I hope they do well wherever they go.
And that's what's really interesting to me about this transfer portal and the responsibilities for coaches. And you said it well. You wish them the best at their next stop. But this isn't the WNBA or the NBA where you're fielding phone calls on a player as an asset that you could potentially trade, so there's that interest to talk about them. For an already busy coach, and for coaches across the country, it feels like you all just have to have this understanding of, listen, as much as I need to refill my roster, right, because these players left, I'm still going to, I guess, show that good sportsmanship to talk about the players that are leaving to other coaches that are interested in them. Do you find that just unique in this transfer portal and the responsibility for the coaches?
Yeah, it's funny. It's this is the time of year that in the past you could not take it easy. I mean, you're recruiting 365 days a year, but the recruiting's changed. It used to be, Jordan, where you would recruit high school players. You would dip your foot into the junior college waters if you needed a specific player immediately, but it was mainly all high school. Well, now you still have high school recruiting. You still have junior college recruiting, but you add to that a portal recruiting. Over 900 Division I women's basketball players are in the portal right now. So yes, we've lost 4, but I think Colorado's lost 5. I think Washington's lost 4 or 5. Arizona's lost 5. We're not the only ones. I think our fans think that it's just us. What's going on down there? It's happening everywhere. And so now you recruit the portal, and to some degree you're recruiting your own players, and that's what a new dynamic. And I'm not great at that. I think if a young person is happy here, great. If they're not, then, it's okay to leave. I mean, we all have a chance to do over from time to time, and that's a good thing. I'm not going to try to talk about and re-recruit them. I think we want players who want to be here. That's why I was really happy that Tahina Paupau stepped up, and because there were a lot of questions on that, and she kind of shut all those down, said, no, I'm coming back. And when you look at who we have coming back, and we do have some transfers that will be coming in, people are going to be excited about our team again.
And let's talk about the pieces coming back, but I'm also more interested in the culture coming back because it feels like now, more than ever before, because of this transfer portal, it's not about the talent. It's, can you create that proper culture with all these moving pieces? How do you feel about your team's culture next year?
Well, I will say this, my staff, we are sitting down and we are going to evaluate every single aspect of our program, including our culture, the things that we do, the team bonding, everything that we're about, and then on the court as well. And I think that we not that we've lost it, we haven't. We still really have good people in our program as well as good players. But we just, there's obviously some things we can do better as a staff. And so we're going to sit down and really, really look at that this week. The players coming back, Jordan, seriously, we have one of the best guard lines in the country. We've got 2 first-team All-Pac-12 players that average about 30 points a game between Tahina Paopao and India Rogers. So that's a good place to start. If you have good guards, then, you're way ahead of the game. And we have, Elise Hurst, who, for a good portion of this year was, logging the most minutes of any player that we had. She's back. Shania Pinto, who was key in a lot of our late game big wins. So she's back now for her second year. She's going to be more comfortable. And then you have incoming players like Chance Gray, one of the best players in the country, had an outstanding performance in the McDonald's All-Star game, as well as Jenna Asai, the player of the year out of Arizona. So you're talking about some really quality guards. Our 1, 2, and 3, I think we're going to be really set. And then you look at the pieces inside, Taylor Hosendove's coming back. At the 5 spot, man, we are really solid in Sedona Prince and Filipina Chase. So, yes, we're sad that we lost some players, but when you look at what we have coming back, I mean, it really is going to be a nice team. And I failed to mention Kennedy Basham at 6'7", from Arizona, as well as somebody that I anticipate will get a lot of time for us is Grace Van Sluten, a McDonald's All-American from Ohio. I mean, that kid's legit, 6'3", and an athlete, can shoot it, can take it off the bounce. She is the whole package. So, when you look at this group, it's a nice group.
All right, stick around. When we come back, we'll wrap up shop and fly around the Pac-12 as we finish things here on Talkin' Ducks.
With 9 locations in the Pacific Northwest, Parr's Cabinet Design Center features everything from outdoor cabinets and countertops to sinks and hardware. Thousands of door styles and colors available to order, as well as kitchen and bath cabinets in stock. All available at the Parr Cabinet Design Center.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks!
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Sometimes leadership is scary. But so is regret.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Buckle up, time now to fly around the Pac-12 courtesy of Eugene Airport. Fly easy, fly EUG. Well, unfortunately for both baseball and softball, some tough weekends down in LA. UCLA sweeping both Oregon baseball and softball. And after some hot starts to the season, a bit of a speed bump for both these teams. For the men's baseball team, the bats certainly cooled down against UCLA. And for softball, the Bruins are just a juggernaut in the Pac-12 right now. They've improved to 31-3, but the good news is plenty of games left in conference play for the men's baseball team. They are currently tied for third in the Pac-12, softball fifth, and the very competitive women's Pac-12 standings. All right, let's have a toast now, brought to you by Sylvan Ridge Winery, proud partners of the Oregon Ducks, and we're going to toast to one Devin Allen. That's right, Devin Allen, the very accomplished Olympic hurdler, All-American multi-time, also a USA Outdoor Champion, ran at the Pro Day at Oregon not too long ago, ran a 4.35, so very impressive work for Devin Allen right there. And according to him, the plan is to try out for an NFL roster and see if someone can give the 27-year-old a chance to make his NFL dream a reality. Now, this has always been the plan for Devin. He wanted to compete in the hurdles at the Olympic level for as long as he could. And he's had a couple of injuries. Remember, this was a 5-year Olympic cycle, and so took a little bit longer, but he is going to try and compete in the World Outdoor Track and Field Championships coming to Hayward Field this summer, and then it would be a very quick turnaround to try and make an NFL roster. But Devin, I would be the last person on earth to try and tell you not to do both. So best of luck, and I think we are all certainly pulling for Devin Allen. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Talkin' Ducks, but next week we are getting closer and closer to the spring game. We'll have more from the coaches and players as they prepare. Also, that transfer portal, as you can imagine, will always continue to heat up for men's and women's basketball. We'll check in with baseball and softball as well, too. From all of us here, appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talkin' Ducks.